Happy October 26th, everyone! Welcome to the Midwest Horror Network's October 2020 special, where we discuss all, yes, all the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. The good, the bad,
and the fuck you!
Whatever acid trip we just sat through. I don't even know where to... I know we begin with the intros, but I don't even know where to begin with this intro.
So we all dropped a gallon of acid, we started looking at the floor, and we just didn't know what was going on.
I didn't even remember turning on the television.
Right. So, what I think happened is the Simpsons kids are trick-or-treating. There's some sort of weird, music or nursery rhyme or something going around. I don't know. And then, ghosts and monsters appear, and what I think was, a monster version of Frank Grimes comes out from his grave. Frank Grimes, who is somebody who died at the power plant because basically Homer drove him crazy and he electrocuted himself.
A reference none of us will get.
It's one of the most famous episodes of The Simpsons.
I've watched it.
Let me be more specific. A reference me and Mark won't get.
Right. So he starts terrorizing the kids. He chases them home. Homer's like, there's no such thing as ghosts. And then the monster breaks in, kills Homer. And Marge is like, and now it's time for the cartoon. The end.
This was weird.
It was weird. It was guest animated by John Chris Fusilli of Ren and Stimpy fame.
Well, that explains a lot.
Explains a lot.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Yeah, and I don't really feel like talking about him. So unless there's anything we want to say about this intro specifically, are we good to just move into the first story?
It was just fucking weird.
It looked like I wasn't watching The Simpsons.
That
was pretty much
it. If you ever, all right, I'm gonna make everybody else roll their eyes. But if you've ever seen the movie Inside Out by Disney, there is a portion where the characters go through abstract thought, and they transform into different characters. That's what these things look like.
Yep.
Is the characters when they went through abstract thought. They were highly misshapen, and for some reason, Marge's boobs were her shoulders, and her shoulders were her boobs.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that.
I couldn't not notice it. It was strange.
I didn't like it.
Mark liked it.
No, I didn't.
I just didn't care for it. I'm not going to say I didn't like it. It was something unique and stuff like that, but like most Simpsons thing, I just don't give it.
It was like Dr. Seuss produced a cartoon while he was drunk, and then saw it the next day, and he's like, no one should ever see this.
The way I would describe it is like 50s or early 20s cartoon animation mixed with 90s and early 2000s Cartoon Network animation, just cluster fucked into a Simpsons intro with, I don't know,
Too complicated.
Yeah, just
it's simple. It's literally like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network said, "Let's do a story," and The Simpsons did it.
It's not even a good story. It's a weird fucking story, and it made me uncomfortable.
It was just weird visuals, and really it made you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think it was the Marge boobs on her shoulders. But anyway.
All right, note to self: anytime boobs are on shoulders, Mark gets creeped out.
And you wouldn't?
I would be intrigued.
Moving on.
Shoulder boobies.
Can we please move on?
Yes.
All right, David, tell us about our first story, Wanted, Dead, Then Alive.
All right, where do I begin? This one I was very disappointed because it could have been, great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I wasn't a fan of the animation for this one. But yeah, let's get on with the story first. It's simple. Bart gets a text from Milhouse to meet him at the music room at the school. He shows up. Sideshow Bob is there, who tricked Bart into, going going in there because he has Milhouse's phone. He kills Bart. Does his line after 24 years of trying to kill a 10-year-old child. He's finally done it. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of blood. Blood would have been better.
He specifically said there's blood everywhere, but there was literally
Yeah.
no blood in sight. He rips the intestines out of Bart.
He uses
Go
it. Yeah,
ahead.
he uses it as a strap and
For a
pretty much
backpack.
turns. Yeah, it turns Bart's dead body into a backpack, brings him home.
Which I do want to stop you there real quick. It is surprising that there is no blood because we have seen much bloodier episodes
Yeah.
of The Simpsons, even in this era of Simpsons.
Yeah, because he pulled Bart's intestines to use as a
Yeah.
strap. There was like not even one drop of blood, and what pissed me off was like when he was leaving the room, he bumped Bart's dead body or dead head against the door frame, and it was like a spot of blood, and he wiped off with Bart's tongue. That was so freaking stupid, and pissed me the frick off.
This episode had a few moments like that.
What was this, 24 years he said of
Yep.
build up? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the ending of Game of Thrones. You just fucking...
Yeah,
ugh.
where it's like when you finally have a Treehouse of Horror where Sideshow Bob can kill Bart, you bring your A game to the writing. Like if nothing else, even if the intro and the other two stories failed, which they did, but even if you have all that, even if you have all that surrounding it failing, you still bring your A game to this one.
Yeah, he finally gets to kill Bart. And the story was just blew my fucking mind.
So what happens next, David?
He brings the body home. He appreciates his work. He changes his Facebook account to
His fiend book.
His fiend book account from
even
attempted
notice it
murder
said that.
to murder. He pretty much teaches at a college. He's
Yep.
bored out of his mind. He tries to reanimate Bart. He gets things together from other like labs and creates a lab in his basement, reanimates Bart so he can keep killing him, and he keeps killing him in different ways.
Which even the different ways weren't that
No.
interesting.
It was, at one point was kind of fucked up because I think it was the first time he was animating him. He had the sledgehammer and he just kept bashing.
Yeah, that was
Bart's
technically the
head.
second time. Because like the first time he just hits him in the head with a sledgehammer, dead, and he was like, I wasn't too satisfied with the thunk of that sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Brings him back to life and just beats different body parts with the sledgehammer. So that was
That was kind of disturbing a little.
that was the best one, and it's disappointing.
Yeah.
And it's even more disappointing that it wasn't topped.
Yeah. Might as well go over. Like, you're beating a 10-year-old child with a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Like, might as well.
If you're gonna do it, do it
Yeah.
right.
If you're gonna do it, just freaking do it.
I'm not even that big of a fan of The Simpsons, but I know enough about the history to know how important that relationship is.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
That's
One of the few storylines of The Simpsons that I actually know.
Even if you don't watch The Simpsons,
Yeah.
you know Sideshow Bob and Bart.
Yeah.
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 Like I said, I hate the damn show essentially, and I know that fucking storyline. And this was fucking atrociously terrible. Like what he said at the beginning. There's blood everywhere. There's not a single drop of blood in sight!
Nope.
There was one drop that he put in his wine glass, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, he corkscrewed into his skull and it just
yeah,
Like, he's, just enjoying his work.
like what year was
Essentially.
this?
This would have been
whenever your Chronicle came out.
2015.
2015. Okay.
Chronicle came out in 2012, by the way.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Moving
s-
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Homer is looking for Bart because obviously he's missing. He's got two suspects on his paper. Sideshow Bob. He asks Sideshow Bob, "Where's Bart?" He says, "I love Bart. I didn't do anything." His next on the list was Homer Simpson, and he's gonna check it out. Which I rolled my eyes at. They see Lisa's walking Santa's little helper and finds
Chopped up Bart.
chopped up Bart and
Through the basement
yeah,
window.
through the basement window on the platform where he's being reanimated. Simpsons break into Sideshow Bob's basement. Sideshow Bob essentially has a shotgun and is ready to kill the intruders. While asking permission from the police chief, Wiggum, who's like, "Yeah, it's okay."
You can wear jeans to a Broadway show.
Everything's different now.
Yeah, and I what?
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
What does anything in this entire episode of Treehouse of Horror have to do with anything?
I mean, those statements and comments are
answer is
throughout this episode,
Like,
and it was just like,
This whole
Why?
this whole episode, all 3 segments were like watching Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Hey, you like jokes? Here's a joke. This is funny.
I disagree.
Jokes.
yeah.
There were no jokes. Like, everything was just weird.
No, it was
and
attempted
off.
jokes. Like, they're not good jokes. Like, they're just deadpanned. Like, that's just not funny. That's stupid.
I think it's one of those situations like we have to have jokes in here, so let's try to make something funny when
Yeah.
it's not.
Like, the
Sure.
way they tried killing Bart the second time with the sledgehammer, that was supposed to be a joke. It just sucked.
I gotta be with Brandon on this one, man. Pretty much the entire episode, I didn't even see the beats of anything. I didn't even see that. Like I didn't even see that. Like
To me, it just
be.
felt like just deadpan. Just you're trying to be funny, but in the most boring way. Like, this is what censorship funny looks like. I would say, like if everything was just super censored and super basic and flat, this is what these fucking idiots would think is funny.
I think they were just trying to shoehorn jokes because they forgot to add jokes.
this might have been,
This
might have been one of them contractually obligated years.
you and your conspiracy theories.
It's
Shut up.
It's not even a conspiracy theory. It's just practice. Just
Every time there's
Like,
a bad
and-
episode, man,
Mark-
those contracts.
Mark, you brought that up so many times until you actually bring some evidence.
Yes.
You really
Stop
do need
it.
to bring the evidence up for that one.
It's fun as a theory right now. I don't have to prove anything. I can just let it exist as a bullshit theory.
Okay. I accept it.
I don't.
I don't.
And that was funnier than the entire episode.
Yes.
And it sucked.
Bring Brandon and Zach together with my bullshit.
So yeah, I think Sideshow Bob falls down the stairs.
Wait, we didn't finish?
I don't.
No.
We didn't finish.
Oh shit!
It keeps going.
It keeps going.
Note to self: do not end the graphic now.
Yeah. All right, I need help with this. Does he fall down the stairs?
So-
Where did the fucking lamp come
Okay,
from?
so what happened was Homer just grabbed the lamp because he had a lamp in the basement.
Okay.
Because you need to have light in the basement, David, don't you know?
Because reasons.
Yeah, reasons.
So he smashes Bob over the head with the lamp. Then Lisa brings the lamp
Reanimates.
to the reanimation machine. And that makes the lamp become one again. And then Homer beats Bob over the head with the lamp again and then cuts his head off with the lamp shards.
Yeah. And then Bart, being Bart, takes Sideshow Bob's head, chicken ass, or
There was
some
like
deer
some frog
horns.
legs, I think.
Yeah.
Some deer horns.
Brings it all to the
and a
animator and reanimates Sideshow Bob as a
thing
thing.
Yeah, let's go
And
thing.
that
then
still
we
teaches
cut.
at the college.
Yeah, and who teaches at the college, and that was it.
Oh yeah, there's that whole other thing side part of it where he's a teacher at the college teaching.
As a chicken.
He already covered that.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was so boring that we completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I covered it.
All right.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As quickly as possible. That's why you don't remember it.
Most likely, yes.
And that was the end of the fucking episode. So
It
it
sucked.
was it could have been something.
This
Like,
was so boring.
Dude, I got one snicker from me, and that's it.
You want to know how bad this was? This felt like a full-blown fucking Simpsons episode. Like, I legitimately thought for a second, I'm like,
yeah, actually.
are there 3 segments in this? How long have we been watching it? I feel like we've been watching this for 20 minutes now.
It did
When
feel
is
like
it going to end?
that. It definitely felt like that.
I remember when this one first aired, and I was mad then for the reasons that Dave and I discussed. It's you finally have Sideshow Bob killing Bart in a
24
Treehouse
years.
of Horror episode where you can do anything you want, and this is what we got.
Yeah, super
You know,
disappointed.
Mark,
Like,
I'm gonna no. I entirely disagree with your contract thing because there's a huge consistency of shitty episodes over the course of these years, I think some of these writers just have bad ideas more often than they have good.
How many writers for this one now? We always have to check how many writers. They're more successful when they have multiple writers. When they have like one fucking writer
Which is
for the whole
unusual.
episode.
There's only one credited writer, but as we discussed in an earlier episode, when you're writing for TV, especially a show like this, just because you're the credited writer, you're just writing the script. You probably have jokes and ideas from every single writer in that writer's room.
Like, I'm just going to blame the team, because this, like, at this
yeah.
point, because Jesus Christ.
I blame all of them. Producers, everyone that let this fucking episode air.
Like,
Like,
you don't do anything special with your normal episodes, or at least to degrees like this. Okay, that's fine, whatever. So when you do get to these episodes, you should have plenty of room to go all out, get creative, and have all the fucking fun you want in the world. And then you make it as boring as this.
yeah.
And also,
To the Simpsons community, how widely appreciated was this?
I would have.
This one, going on IMDb real quick, because and I really don't talk to that many other Simpsons fans, so I don't know.
It's a small community.
Yeah, well, it's.
I mean, I would have forgiven this whole episode if this segment was great.
Compared to Treehouse 25 on IMDb, which is the one with the Hell School, the which you really liked, Zach, the Kubrick one, and the one where they meet the Tracy Ullman versions of themselves. That one has a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
All right.
And then this one has a 6.5. So that's nearly an entire star drop right there.
And you said the lowest one was like, what, a 5?
The lowest one was Treehouse 22.
Yeah, the one we did a few days
That's
ago.
at a 6.4.
So this is lower than that one.
No. This one's
No.
like, what would you say this one was, a 6.5?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, this one's 1 point above.
Oh,
dude,
that's not much.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not going to say this one was as bad as that one, but it's pretty...
It's down there.
Yeah. It's
This
like,
one
the
is
problem with
down
this
there.
one is it's just fucking boring. That one was just straight up stupid.
It's
it's certainly
weird for the sake of weird. It's not funny.
Yeah.
All three of the segments just kind of drop off at the end.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think the most infuriating part about this one is it's just you did nothing with a storyline that you've had for 24 freaking years.
And that's
Yeah.
saying something from a person who is not a fan of The Simpsons.
And coming from somebody who is a fan of The Simpsons.
Agreeing on that, which is pretty cool.
No, it's not.
I know it's cool that you guys are agreeing on it. But not cool for what it is. It may be certainly possible that they got Kelsey Grammer last minute and then slapdash a fucking episode together. Which I hope that's not the case, but it may certainly be possible.
But still, it's like, even that, you can do a lot with the killing. Like, I thought they wasted so much time on him gloating about killing Bart, and then him teaching at the college. You could have hit those beats, but make them a lot quicker and shorter to get to what we really came here
They
for.
could have just cut all that shit out and just
Yeah.
would have been like, okay, that was fun. Let me reanimate him and let me kill him in different ways.
Exactly.
They could have dedicated the whole segment
Do
to probably
some-
just that.
Do some cool torturous shit.
Dude, simple
Like
is
the ways he killed him,
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, what the... Like, get creative, have fun. Make it slow and painful, man.
Simple is
Also, where's the blood?
Yeah, where is the fucking blood? The one spot of blood that...
Exactly.
gonna be-
I don't know what the people who animate this show think, but the human body is filled with a fuck ton of blood.
That's gonna be Shudder's next ad campaign. Where's the blood?
Where's the blood?
You know
Where's
what? I
the
actually
beef?
like that.
Just like where's
Yo,
the beef?
Shutter, contact us. We'll make that for you.
We
We offer reasonable prices.
We copyright that. Midwest
Yeah.
Horror copyrights that.
I don't think there's anything else for us to say without us just spinning in circles on
Yeah,
this.
we're
one.
done.
So,
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on to the next boring piece of shit.
Okay, Zach, tell us about segment 2, Homerzilla.
Okay. So, this episode, it's a long one. It was Godzilla 1950.
There's a lot more that happens than that.
Okay, so all right, so yeah, it's essentially a Godzilla ripoff. You know, Homer's dad is feeding him donuts because Homer is
he's
Godzilla.
floating donuts into the the ocean, one a day.
Yeah, everybody makes fun of him because of it. They think he's crazy. Then he dies. So then Homer comes and starts destroying everything. Now that's what I remember. Now here's the problem. This episode was so boring that I phased in and out of consciousness for this one. So I do know they went to modern time at some point. I don't know what happened or how we got there.
The Hollywood execs decided that they were going to remake it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's why he was in that shape.
Because
Okay.
it started off like we were just watching this weird, like...
Yeah, they have studio
period
execs
piece.
watching the 1950s black and white style, and they're like, we can... People will go crazy if we remake this. We'll make millions after spending hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Which is like, if it wasn't so accurate, maybe it would have been a little funnier than what it was.
Like I see the Godzilla or Homerzilla destroy something, and then I wake up again and I'm like, oh wait, the episode's over? Holy shit!
It was L.A. Literally destroying L.A.
Was like as boring as the last episode was. This one was dreadful. Yeah. Like I went into this, I had energy. I was just drained, just halfway through it. Holy crap! Shut up. Not even the goddamn Raven drained me that bad.
Oh, he said it.
Shut up.
Finally.
I think we.
You
we
need to
got
say
a
it,
winner.
Zach.
I think we got a winner, sir.
After 26 years.
Say it.
I'm not saying that yet.
Say it.
No. I need time to ponder.
After 26 years of convincing Zach that the Raven was...
Where's my knife?
It finally happened.
I'm gonna stab David. You die!
You go straight to hell and you die! I got one thing to say, though, that was so fucking painful in this episode is... literally... I reenacted fucking Peter reacting to Buzz Killington when Homer stepped on something and said "Doe" and then Joe, and then it was fucking Dojo written on the side, and I went, oh.
Yeah, I rolled my friend.
I was like,
I heard you do that too.
What's up?
I heard you do that too.
I remember seeing that.
It was
this
fucking painful.
This episode was fucking draining. Like if you want to suck the soul out of somebody, have them watch this episode. If you ever having trouble going to sleep because you're just super energized, watch this segment. It is fucking terrible.
Dude, it's like Mortal Kombat, man.
No, Mortal Kombat is fun.
No. Your soul is mine. Yeah. Literally sucking the soul out of people.
But the problem is you're entertained while your soul is being sucked away when
I
it
will
comes
say
to Mortal Kombat.
there is a lot that could have been done with like the Hollywood satire of like doing an overly expensive remake of an older movie, and then they're like, we'll just dump everything at see all the merchandise and everything and just write it off as insurance or something like that. Like there's a lot you could do with that idea. It was a long way for them to go to spoof the idea that a lot of people didn't care for the 2014 American remake of Godzilla, but I don't mind traveling that much.
Wait, 2014? You mean, you said 2014 American remake of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Is that the one that they were talking about in this?
I believe so.
Oh, I thought they were talking about Zilla. Like what was it, 2000 or
2001 or some shit.
Yeah.
Either way, they're making fun of the idea of an overly produced Hollywood remake of a Japanese monster movie. You can travel a lot to get to that joke, and I don't mind traveling a lot for a joke if it's funny, but it wasn't. Like much like with the first one, there's a lot you can do with this idea, but you didn't, and you just went really weird with it.
I mean, the problem is like I'm not even a fan of the animation that's going on so far. Like going into the second segment, like the intro, I wasn't a fan. It didn't even look like I was watching The Simpsons. I was like, what are we watching? And then like we get to the first segment, it's like there's no blood. It's like
remember the animation from Halloween of Horror, just the regular episode that was before It was the week before this aired.
That's
the animation in that one was
great.
freaking
Yeah, actually,
beautiful.
yeah, this
It was
was
great.
There was a lot of play with the shadows and
Yeah.
So it's I think they just put all their energy into that Halloween
think so.
episode.
So, and by the way,
autopilot
I
on
forgot
this
about
one.
that.
and by
You
the
know-
way, so, Homer's spoiler alert was not a spoiler alert.
No.
Actually,
No.
a great spoiler alert would have been like, man, you could skip it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have been great. That would have been a great piece of advice.
Dude, he foreshadowed how shitty this episode was going to be. It's just like, you know, people
he
love
did
it. We
foreshadow.
don't fucking care.
We're gonna do that shit next week.
He did foreshadow.
I think that was probably their fucking idea. They already did a Halloween episode, and they're like, meh, we don't need to really put that much effort into Treehouse.
You know,
this
it
year.
makes more sense why this episode sucks.
too.
But again, why did you fuck up the Sideshow Bob one?
Yeah,
Like,
like
of
I
all
said,
the ones you could have just
And
blown your
then,
load up.
like
with.
I said earlier, even if everything else surrounding that one fails, you still bring your A game to Sideshow Bob killing Bart.
And then the second segment, like the black and white, I'm not even a fan of them using the black and white. Like
I mean,
it was
it
like really weird because like
It
when
makes sense because
King
they're going for
Homer,
the original
the black and
Godzilla.
white was really great.
Yeah, they
Because
did
the
a really
animation was
for
great.
King Homer. They did a very good job at
Yeah.
replicating the look of the type of black and white that the 1933
Oh, you're
King
talking
Kong
about like
was.
getting the authentic black and
Yeah.
white from. Okay,
And
that's
even
I'll agree with
the,
that.
even the Hitchcock spoof, which we weren't that big on overall. Like that one was still entertaining enough.
No, our commentary was entertaining. On it.
But we still even agreed that the use of black and white and the animation and the angles that they used was still interesting.
Exactly.
They did a very good job at doing the Hitchcock look for that, whereas this one just felt kind of. And then they abandoned the black and white halfway through anyway.
Yeah,
and
it
it
was-
also the thing is too that the meta was too little, too late, and actually it was kind of just shoved upon you, like you didn't even realize until Homer like fell off the side of the set, like and they're like, oh, this is a parody thing,
Yeah.
a meta thing,
Which even
like,
the Broadway musical spoof did a much better job at that kind of joke.
yeah, like much, yeah. Well, that was just a great segment, but. I mean, yeah, I didn't even know, like, nothing felt earned. Nothing felt like it made any sense. You spent way too much time on the actual Godzilla thing to even make a proper pivot into this parody on Hollywood.
I mean, it didn't even feel like that.
Yeah, it was just
Like,
kind of
it
came
really
out of
didn't
fucking
feel like
nowhere.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
And then by the time you get to that point, you're already so bored out of your mind that you're just like,
Yeah.
wait, what happened?
yeah, where am I?
Like, this was almost worse than those stories that they do, where it's like the Artificial Intelligence story from quite a few treehouses back, where
Oh, I faintly remember that. Which one was that?
that
one?
was the the AI spoof.
Is
where
that
it's
the
like,
one where Bart gets cloned and then he gets chopped in half or something like that, or he chops Homer in half just to kill the
Yeah.
other Bart?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that one.
Which overall we enjoyed that segment, but at the end it's revealed that it's just Homer's dream and Homer's possessed by the devil.
Is that also the one where
That's
Maggie was having the
stupid.
Clockwork Orange dream?
No.
No.
That's different. But
What is it?
that's another good example where it's like there are those stories where it's like you have a complete story, but then for some reason it was some character's dream. Like in a way, this is worse than that because with those stories where it's just a character's dream, you can just cut off that dream part and still have a solid segment on its own. Whereas with this one, the whole, it's a Hollywood movie ripoff remake thingy. But this is so tied into the rest of the story that you can't even pretend this isn't part of it.
Yeah. I mean, even with like the sound effects, dude, like, oh my god. Even with like Homer's like roar.
His roar
as
was
a Godzilla
terrible.
was like, you could have done something with that. Like,
I think I figured this out. Every time Homer becomes some monstrosity, it's a horrible episode. It's a horrible segment.
it is.
The when Homer becomes the giant blob thing
Yeah.
when he eats the thing,
Yeah.
the King Kong
King Homer.
and
Which King
and the
Homer, I
Godzilla.
don't think
King
was bad.
Homer, I didn't think it was.
It was
bad.
boring.
It was
Well,
the weakest
okay.
of those three in that one, but I do not think it was a bad story.
I remember
either.
not liking that one.
I didn't particularly care for it. I'd have to go back and listen to the recording, but I don't remember. Very much remember liking the segments that were on the bookends.
Did you
of
guys
this.
watch the original Kong?
And like
Yeah.
when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and only like a few scenes, but besides, I mean, I know the story, so I mean, but yeah, it just seemed to be every time Homer becomes some kind of monstrosity, It's
you're
just a
right.
bad or boring segment.
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
pretty
not.
sure there might be one or two more segments that it's probably true, but
I don't remember any other segment besides those three. I
they
don't
were
think.
probably so fucking boring we forgot about them.
No. Like, trust me, that's something I would have.
Like, I'm surprised you remember the Blob one, because it's like, I knew there were more.
Oh, dude, the Blob
Like,
one
I
was
think-
fucking
I
painful.
Blob ones is terrible.
Dude,
It
fucking
was,
painful.
look, it was bad, but still, it's like, that one's one of the forgettable ones. Like, King Homer, I remember just being bored out of my mind with that one. This one was really fucking annoying.
Yeah,
This
And
one's
again-
so freaking annoying that like I'm picking at like the sound effects on these. All the
Yeah,
sound,
it
like,
is.
and I never do that. This is like the first time I'm actually even talking about sound with
Ladies and
these
gentlemen, take a
episodes.
shot every time we say we're annoyed.
Dude, this might be a little worse than the worst rated one on IMDb right now, because we're even more angry about it.
I still hate 17 more.
I really don't like that first segment in. Oh no, wait, you're saying 17? No, 17 I could give 1,000 hells less about. But no, the first segment with the fucking paralyzed Homer, that one was just so fucking bad.
That
That one was really bad.
Which
Yeah.
one?
The paralyzed Homer, where he just farts to communicate
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
turns
yeah.
into Spider-Man at
Oh,
the
God,
end.
never mind. Never mind.
That one I
That
absolutely
one's
hate.
definitely-
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
That might be the worst individual segment we've
Yeah.
had so far, but I still think Treehouse 17 is the worst episode overall.
I'm leaning for this, but all right, if for worst episode so far, I think this one's it for me. Worst segment, that fucking dumbass farting whatever the hell is it. Yeah.
Like what puts 17 over the edge as worse than this one is at least this one at least acknowledged the characters' personalities, whereas I thought 17 was just written by somebody who just didn't even care to learn anything about any of the characters.
I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that. This fucking stupid episode. This is definitely in that really bad, gonna fight for position of worst segments of Treehouse of Horror episodes, no doubt.
It's down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we have anything else we want to say about Homerzilla before we move on
No.
to the last one?
Nails on chalkboard. Go on.
All right, Mark, tell us about the final story in this episode, Telepaths of Glory.
Once again, another shitty parody. I would almost. This is almost as bad as the Avatar one, except not quite as bad. This is a parody on Chronicle, which is a found footage movie about kids who get supernatural powers. I never got a chance to see Chronicle, so
I really like Chronicle.
I've heard good things. I have heard good things.
I remember the trailers. I know Brandon's mentioned it to me a plethora of times. It's just one of those movies I just never got around to watching.
And I know that is coming a lot from you, because you are not
I
a
do
fan
not
of
like
found footage. I know you
movies.
don't.
Yeah.
So I can take that to the bank when you say something.
Another
like that.
fun fact, I always get Chronicle and Covenant mixed up with their
Yeah,
titles.
you do.
Yeah, I
Even
don't
you.
know why. They're two totally different movies. I guess it's just, I don't know, a bunch of dudes having powers or just random
Even
shit.
when we were watching this, you're like, is this a spoof of Covenant? And Mark and I just said at the same time, Chronicle.
Again, essentially, Lisa is filming butterflies, I guess, and
Because reasons.
because reasons. Millhouse and Bart are playing swords like normal, 10-year-olds
No,
do.
sticks, Mark. Get it right.
They're playing swords, but they're using sticks because they can't afford actual swords. So what? You guys never
They're
went to the
kids.
woods and beat the shit out of your
No,
friends
we
with sticks?
have, but the whole kids can't afford real swords thing is kind of just implied.
Why would
Dude,
they have
I don't
real
know.
swords
Like,
anyway?
maybe some super rich kids fucking can afford swords. I don't know.
My grandfather took me to the Renaissance Fair. He saw me walking towards the real swords department. He's like, nope, we're getting you a 1-1. But I want the real one. Nope, I know what you're going to do with it. No way in hell you're having one.
I didn't get a Gladius until I was 21 years old. That was actually my 21st birthday present.
Mark, move on, please.
Anyway,
No, I kind of want to hear this. This is probably way more interesting than the actual story
Yeah, but we
itself.
can't
Yeah.
end this until we get through the story.
Oh, fuck. All right, continue the goddamn story.
actually, Zach, that is a story. There's nothing else a part of that. I got a sword. It was great. The end of story.
I mean, the story of the episode.
Oh, okay, we're still fucking talking about The Simpsons. Who knew? This is how bad this fucking episode was. The
Can we
I
change
know
the
it's
topic?
bad. That's why I'm trying to move this along, Mark.
kicking and screaming. You will review this episode, and you will kind of like it.
Kind of?
Yeah, because he can't actually commit us to actually liking this 100%. Reviewing it 100%.
I don't even think he could do that.
It's good. That's why I said that. Anyway, so I guess they're playing around, and Milhouse falls into a giant hole because that's what the fuck happens to Milhouse because his life is shit, and then something bad always happens to Milhouse, and then he falls even further down the fucking hole and makes a sound and extends the fucking yell like we haven't seen that goddamn gag 100 fucking times.
Obviously, they were short on some time in this episode.
I was going to say, they
somehow.
had to extend the runtime somehow, and Kang and Kodos, they got tired of doing it, so they're like, fuck you!
Please keep going.
Dude, I am shocked he didn't say when he was going down. He's like, I'm halfway down now. Hilariously enough, Bart and Lisa go down to go get him. After Bart comes up with this clever genius idea that he's going to go home and get a barrel of monkeys and reenact Toy Story. I had to go get him.
He was clearly being sarcastic. He had no intention of coming back. He's like, fuck you, Milhouse, you're done.
I'm surprised Bart doesn't say that more often, considering how difficult fucking Milhouse is.
That's a very fair point.
He's always like he's like that fucking kid in school who's like allergic to everything, and their life is always shit. Like you walk up to them and they're like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" Kind of shitty. Well, then fuck you. Then I won't ask again how you're doing in life. It's terrible. Anyway, this episode makes me hate Milhouse.
God damn.
And he barely did anything.
Do you want to talk about your feelings?
Mark. We're almost. This is the last story. We're almost at the finish line. You're in control of how quickly we get there. Keep going.
Thanks, Coach. Anyway,
Do you want me to finish the story for you?
No, I don't. So they find a giant blob once again. It's funny how like huge blobs follow shitty episodes. So
We don't have time to laugh at the joke. Keep going.
Look, there needs to be some laughter in this goddamn episode.
Go. The light screen. Go. He's like that fucking sergeant when they're jumping out of an airplane. He's like, everybody go. Get the fuck out of here.
I need an air horn every time Mark goes out of topic.
I made the
Move
shot.
on.
So they find the giant blob down there, and they guess they start fucking around with it because Milhouse lost his glasses, and he goes through the blob to look for him. And Lisa's being sensible, kinda, and she's like, "Don't do that. You don't know where the blob came from." But because Bart is fucking Homer's son, he's gonna fuck with it. So he.
Well, it was waste from the power plant.
Oh yeah, that's
Toxic.
right. Yeah, so then they've already kind of fucked with that. So he makes
even
a
Bart
beard.
says, it's just the stuff that Dad always brings home from work.
Oh, that's painful. Anyway, so he makes a beard, and they kind of fuck around a little bit, and then they get blasted out of the hole and end up up top. And then now they have superpowers, just like in Chronicle. They can float around, and they have telekinesis, and they can throw shit, and I guess they do a bunch of things that are power oriented. Lisa makes a whole jazz orchestra play at the same time. And then Homer tries to make a failed attempt at a union joke.
Don't dwell on it. Just keep going.
Zach was like, yeah. And then Milhouse, I guess, becomes power hungry and tries to do a bunch of crazy shit, including.
All right, I'm going to stop you there because that is. They really actually did have a very fair setup for a Chronicle spoof. So what happens in Chronicle is there are three friends who basically get powers. They fall down a cave, much like in this segment here, and there's this weird, alien type thing down there that kind of explodes, but instead of killing them, it gives them powers. And it's just like telekinetic powers that can make themselves fly, stuff like that. As opposed to in the Simpsons episode where it's like Lisa and Milhouse were literally just making things appear and changing things at will. They were But yeah, that kind of stuff wasn't in the movie. It was like telekinetic stuff and flight. One of the three main characters is from just a very bad household. Like his father beats him and everything. His mother's pretty much on her deathbed. He's bullied at school and everything. And so it does kind of go, kind of the Carrie route where he kind of becomes the super villain in this superhero in quotes. You can't see me doing the quotes thing because we're audio. Anyway,
Brandon.
Keep moving, boy.
Go, 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 go!
I deserved that. But no, so slowly throughout the course of the movie, he becomes the villain. And it's really interesting how he starts like kind of sympathetic, but you can kind of tell that he has that anger in him. And it just keeps getting worse and worse as the movie goes along. And Milhouse, being Milhouse, he really is the perfect character to pretty much swap out from that character in Chronicle. And they do kind of dance with that idea a little bit in this, but because they wanted that weird ending that they went with, Mark, I'll let you describe the ending when you get to it.
Whenever he gets to it.
Whenever he gets to it, yes, Zach. But yeah, I thought they had a very good setup for a legitimate Chronicle spoof, but they didn't do anything with it.
I actually agree 100%. They really didn't do anything with it. I mean, Milhouse did a couple pranks, like played whack-a-mole with a bunch of the bullies, and
Dude, he turned into a power-hungry maniac like instantly.
Instantly, there was no evolution, but it wasn't even a fun.
Which I can forgive that for being like a 7-minute segment. Like they only have 7 minutes. You got to make some compromises somewhere. The only question is, where do you want to make those compromises? And unfortunately, in this one, they compromised just everything.
Yeah, and it was a fucking disaster. And then also he combined his parents because he wanted them back together, and he literally put them back together. And then at the end, Milhouse gets crushed and defeated, and they don't quite know who it is. And surprise, it's fucking Maggie once again. And then she does sociopathic things, and then.
Not really. She turns like a whole bunch of stuff into like nice things. Like, and went back to Homerzilla and turned Homerzilla into a giant Barney. And she even turned a rude Frenchman into a polite Frenchman.
Which I can actually say from experience that is true.
That was just random.
It's true.
Everything about the ending of this one was random.
Yeah, pretty much. And then she stacked a bunch of things together in the Springfield skyline, and that
I don't even know what that was.
I was really hoping somebody could explain why that was a thing.
I was hoping that was going to build up to something, but no, it was just random stacking.
Okay, so
like block building essentially for babies, like give them a set of blocks and they stack things together.
Oh, I thought it was just how they threw this episode
together. Do you know
together.
this for sure, or are you just guessing?
Yeah.
Sure.
I have 2 kids. Yeah, I am positive.
He does have 2 kids, so I'll give him that one.
I'm pretty
they
sure
haven't
that's what
been
they're
babies
referencing.
for a while.
It could be different, but I mean, I'm assuming that's what they're referencing.
Little
She's a baby.
Oh, okay.
Dude, the more I talked about this episode, the more it sucks.
Just tell the ending.
Because you're dragging it.
That's
out,
it.
you son of a
That
bitch.
was the end.
That's it. That's the fucking ending. Like,
You forgot the King and Kodos part.
and then
Why, Zach? Why?
because we can't get through a fucking treehouse without King and Kodos, and then they literally say for the millionth time that they've been shoehorned in. And like, at least they didn't change the ratio.
4:3, and then they do it, which is obviously the aspect ratio of the early days of Simpsons, and they say, pointing at the screen, just because it looks like season 4 doesn't make it season 4, and boy do I agree with them. Roll credits.
Was that supposed to be a reference to something? Or was season 4 like super good?
Season 4 is considered like one of the peak golden age seasons of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then that's that then.
All right, are we ready for the wrap up?
Please.
All right. Funniest moment.
I got one snicker out of the first episode when they showed the front of his house, and they had a little sign that said, in prison or on parole, and they had Bob. Bob's either in prison or on parole. That's it.
I liked when Sideshow Bob says, after 24 years of hunting down a 10-year-old. Next.
There's a lot of felonies in that episode too.
Yeah, the felony counter. You kind of slacking, Zach, on the felony counter.
I was too busy trying to stay awake.
Yeah, just because he made some kind of weird comment about his golf balls in Bart's mouth.
He really did.
Yeah, I forgot about
That was
that.
the only one I'm like, hang
That's
on.
lovely, David, but we're here to talk about funniest moments.
We'll get to that in a second.
Mine was towards the end when Milhouse has had his powers and he kind of meshed his parents together. And Milhouse's mom says, "Even this will not make me close to you."
Even still, I don't feel close
Yeah,
to you.
even still, I don't feel close to you. And that, I was like, yeah, that's accurate for divorced parents.
What was the next category? Scariest, creepiest. This is what this episode has done to me.
Darkest.
Darkest, grossest. You guys know the drill. Whatever adjectives we've added to it throughout these
I'm gonna
26
go
episodes.
with his balls in Bart's mouth.
You son of a bitch.
That one.
That's pretty fucking disturbing.
I'm going to go with that one, and then I'm going to go with him constantly bashing Bart with the sledgehammer.
That was just disappointing.
It was still kind of disturbing. I mean, it was disappointing at the same time, but the fact that, like, they were letting that slide and then there was, like, no fucking blood or anything was mind-blowing.
I am going to agree with the sledgehammer thing. It was very disappointing, but this episode isn't giving me a lot to choose from.
We have balls in mouth.
We always have balls in mouth.
On that subject, we also had a
No, behind the scenes shit doesn't count. You have to actually pick
Yeah.
something from the episode.
I did.
The
It was
whole.
the sledgehammer thing.
Oh, okay. They
He actually chose that? Okay,
they
cool.
Moving
Moving on.
All right.
All right, least favorite segment.
2.
Two.
I'm torn on this one. Like, I really am torn.
I'll choose for you.
Because 2 was really boring, but also 1, I am just angry about 1 because of what they could have done with it.
Yeah.
And then 3 just completely drops halfway through.
Here's
like
the thing
mega
about
thing.
3. It didn't feel as long as 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I'll give 3 that much.
3 definitely felt very short
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
In fact, that might be one of the reasons why 1 and 2 felt so damn long. Probably because they were longer than 3.
Yeah.
Like...
2 was really boring, but I am going to pick 1 as my least favorite because, like I said, you have Sideshow Bob killing Bart. You need to bring your A game to that one.
100%.
I can just ignore a bad parody, but this was so tied into everything Simpsons that for it to not be the best thing of this episode is so disappointing. I have to choose it as my least favorite.
I get that, and you know what? And honestly, the reason why I picked 2 though is just I deliberately felt like they were wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like that's like it was one of those things. I'm not gonna get that 7 minutes back of my life.
Oh,
like
no,
it was
we're
one
not.
of those type of things. Like when you get to that level with me, you completely lost me.
Yeah, you already know my thoughts for the second segment. Like, they just didn't do anything well. The animation wasn't well, story, structure, sounds, the sound bites, all that stuff. They didn't do well for this segment.
Everything was just fucking boring.
Dude, I'm gonna come up with a new quote for things like that. I'm gonna call it a time refund. I would love a time refund. On that. Anytime something's that fucking bad, I want a time refund.
Yeah, we just
Send
call
a
that. Can I
letter.
get my 7 minutes back?
Send a letter. I want
So,
my
like, you're
time.
saying that when you die and you're standing before God, you're just going to be like, hey, can I get 7 more minutes down there?
Always. Dude, I'm in sales, bro. I'm always going to try to negotiate.
And then your body's going to randomly come back to life for 7 minutes, scare the crap of everybody around your body.
Dude,
and
I
then
would
just
do it.
drop dead.
I would
7
do it
minutes later.
just for that. Just to scare the shit out of everybody
Dude, your
around.
dad's gonna be like, Bart, what the fuck are you doing? Are you dead or are you not dead? What the fuck?
I just had to come back to fuck with everyone for like 7 minutes.
We gotta do this.
They-
We gotta do this. Stop everything now.
Okay. Favorite segment of these three?
I'm gonna do 3 by default.
I'm gonna say 3 as well. It's like I said, it at least had a decent Chronicle spoof in the making.
I was torn between the first one and the third one, but because of them dropping the ball for Satchel Bob finally killing Bart, I have to go with 3.
Do I really have to say one's good?
No,
Well, we're
you-
not
no,
saying one
this
is good.
this
We're
the
just
lesser of
saying
two
one
evils.
is. We're just saying that one of these is the best of the 3.
Yeah, it's not even about liking it. It's just about choosing the lesser of the evils.
I'm gonna choose the ending of 3.
So 3.
3. We're unanimous. Yay!
Wait, can I change mine and just go to intro?
Please no.
No.
Please!
Well, 'cause at least
You're
it felt like I was
fucking
watching
weirdo.
something
What the hell's
else.
the matter with you?
Look, if he wants to choose the intro, that's fine.
I was entertained at least. Even though I don't know what the hell I was watching.
I'll give him that much.
All right. Thank you all for listening to today's.
It just seems like, you know what? Fuck it. The light is green. I'm going.
I'm muting you guys.
Not even.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of our podcast talking about the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 26. Be sure to listen to our regular podcast, the Nightmares Podcast, wherever podcasts are available. And be sure to check out our social media at Midwest Horror Network on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and
Slasher.
Well, I was weak. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please give that like button a stab and that subscribe button a smash. And then, of course, click that little dingy bell to be notified every time we drop amazing content here on the Midwest Horror Network. And, of course, if you're listening to this on Spotify, press that follow button to also be notified every time we drop amazing content like the Nightmares Podcast and then also these awesome October specials. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow.
try to have a happy October 26th, everyone.
It'll be better than the one we had.